another edition of Staff Picks here at Wayne County Public Library. I'm Arlene.
Hi, I'm Jeannie.
Hi, I'm Kimberly.
And in keeping with the Halloween theme, we're going to be discussing items that are frightfully fun.
Hi, for our first book, I am going to introduce one called Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. This book is basically a horror comedy. This book is a horror comedy that is set in a store called Orisk, which is very similar to an IKEA type store. And our main character's name is Amy, and she feels like she's stuck in a dead-end job. And she has a boss named Basil who comes to her one day and says, "I'd like you to spend the night in the store with me. There's been a bunch of phenomena going on in the store, and I'd like somebody to spend the night in the store with me so we can figure out what's going on." So Amy, Basil, and another employee called Ruth Ann spend the night in the store. And that's the premise of the book. The book takes place in one night, and they spend the night in the store, and that's how it starts off. And as they're spending the night in the store, a bunch of strange things start to happen. Now, I'm not going to tell you all the strange things because, of course, that would give away the fun of the story. But as strange things are happening, they run across a couple of people. One of the people they run across is Carl, a homeless man who's been spending the night in the store. And as they run across Carl, they also run across another pair of people, and these are two other employees of the store. These employees are named Trinity and Matt. Now, Trinity decides that she wants to hold a seance in the store because her and Matt are filming in the store. They've heard about all the paranormal phenomena going on, and they want to start their own Ghost Hunters TV show. So she wants to do a seance in the store. Now, there have been some strange things going on in the store, so Amy decides to call the police in the evening. So Basil goes down to watch for the police. Trinity decides to hold the seance. While the seance is going on, all of a sudden Carl is possessed by this warden named Worth. And it appears that at one point there had been an asylum at the spot where the store now stands. Anyway, Carl is possessed by this warden, and this warden tells them that he is going to cure them of all their mental illnesses. And all of a sudden he takes a knife and he slits Carl's throat, and all this blood goes everywhere. Now, as everybody's in shock, Basil comes back to tell them that the police still haven't arrived. And they go to look for Carl's body, and all of a sudden Carl's body's not there. So they go looking for Carl's body, trying to figure out what happened. And they stumble upon a door to this ancient asylum that shouldn't be there. All of a sudden, all these ghosts come in, and they take them all and capture them and start torturing them. Amy is rescued by Basil, who happens to break away, and they decide to rescue the others. Will they survive? Will they make it out? Read Horror Story to find out.
Hi, I was asked to share some of my favorite horror films with you today, and I'm happy to do so. Vampires and Zombies and Monsters, oh my. First on my list is Nosferatu, a silent film released in 1922. Based on Bram Stoker's Dracula, this film could be called the grandfather of horror films. The director's use of shadow and light sets the atmospheric stage from which the vampire Count Orlok performs his eerie and haunting dance of death and destruction. This film paved the way for all future vampire films. If you're a fan of vamps, the 1931 Dracula starring Bela Lugosi is mesmerizing, as is the 1979 version starring Frank Langella. And for fans of teen vamps, the 1987 film Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland as a nasty teenage vampire with loads of attitude is an extremely fun and terrifying time indeed. No horror list would be complete without zombies. If Nosferatu is the grandfather of horror films, George Romero's 1968 Night of the Living Dead is the mother of zombie films. Dark, disturbing, and gritty, this movie portrays zombies or ghouls as flesh-eating creatures. Much of the action takes place in a farmhouse where 5 survivors are trapped and they must work together to fend off the ever-growing mass of zombies. A commentary on the 1960s, Romero's masterpiece reveals that we have as much to fear from each other as we do from ravenous zombies. While that film is my favorite, there are other zombie films of merit as well. For zombie mayhem plus comic relief, Shaun of the Dead starring Simon Pegg is monstrously entertaining. Zombieland provides fearsome zombies, comedy, and 2 strong female characters. Warm Bodies from 2013 is about a zombie with heart and features scary moments plus a message of love and acceptance. The Resident Evil series starring Mila Jovovich gives us a strong female lead who combats hordes of zombies in a post-apocalyptic world. Universal Studios blessed us with some fabulous monster films. 2 of my favorites are Bride of Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon, with Boris Karloff as the undead monster and Elsa Lanchester as the unwilling and monstrously beautiful bride. Bride of Frankenstein never grows old, and we're left with the question of who are the real monsters? Creature from the Black Lagoon, with its cheesy aquatic creature, has spectacular underwater footage, which was groundbreaking for the early 1950s. Alfred Hitchcock, my favorite director, created 2 masterpieces of horror, Psycho and The Birds. Psycho, starring Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh, is considered to be one of Hitchcock's best. The shower scene, to say the least, is terrifyingly rememberable. The Birds focuses on a small town inexplicably besieged by violent attacks from killer birds. Leave it to Hitchcock to turn birds into some of the most horrifying villains in film history. My final picks are from John Carpenter's Halloween franchise. Halloween, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, is the epitome of horror slasher films, and Halloween H2O, which takes place 20 years later, is even better. Jamie Lee rocks both performances and provides us with a strong but vulnerable female character to cheer for. Happy Halloween and happy viewing.
Now, we all know I like nonfiction, so my staff pick is The Hot Zone by Richard Preston. Ebola is a highly infectious and often fatal disease. This is the story of what happens when it appears in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. According to my friend Nicole, The Hot Zone will make you a shut-in. It's number 2 on the BuzzFeed's list of 17 nonfiction books that will freak you the blank out. It's riveting, petrifying, mesmerizing, horrifying, spine-chilling, and totally true. So I recommend The Hot Zone for a good scare. Now, my second book, which is also a nonfiction, it's a cookbook like last time. It's not frightening, but it sure is fun. It's October, that makes it apple season. And this is Apples from Harvest to Table by Amy Pennington. It's a great book, totally devoted to apples. There are only 50 recipes in this book, so it's not overwhelming. They're all good recipes. Each recipe lists suggested varieties, which I found incredibly helpful. I've gone to the store, found apples, and not quite sure how to cook them. And the recipes are not difficult. The apple strudel recipe is very easy and very delicious. The pictures are also very beautiful, so it's just a fun book to look at. So these are our staff picks. Stop by your local branch of the Wayne County Public Library and check them out for some frightful fun. Thank you.